Heyo, heyo. Leonie Dawson refused to be categorized. The podcast. Motherfuckers, welcome. Gonna have
Woot
to
woot.
woot woot. We're gonna have to explicit rating that one. That's gonna be good. Um, welcome back, Queens. This is the Leonie Dawson with the Zita, my full-time paid troll, my part-time assistant. um, and we're gonna be doing another one of those Ask Leonie Anything episodes. If you want to have a question answered in an upcoming episode, you should email support@leoniedawson.com and say podcast question in capital letters in the subject, and maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode, but we'll see. First things I should say before we begin, my Brilliant Business Life Academy is doubling in price at the end of November. So that's the place where you get all of my business and marketing e-courses and workbooks and templates and so much stuff, over $8,500 worth of shit. And you get it for under $99 a year, but only until the end of this month. So go to leoniedawson.com/academy. And now I'm going to answer your friggin' questions.
Awesome. So, I have a selection of excellent questions. And the first one that we will start with is from Anonymous. And they ask, do you ever do market research, or do you mostly follow your own intuition and ideas?
Mostly like own intuition ideas. However, I do also ask like my people, hey, what would you like to see a workshop on next? And we poll, especially like in the academy and stuff like that. We always we poll people and ask for suggestions and stuff like that, because often those things align. And if there's something that I don't want to teach about, we can also like find guest experts to teach on that topic as well. Like there's some people that we've got for next year that are teaching about like Facebook ads that pay for themselves and profitable funnels and e-commerce businesses. And they're things that aren't my special interest or I don't have a huge amount of experience in. So totally cool that we can get guest experts in to do those workshops instead.
Yeah, and in the academy too, there is a link for people to submit their sort of requests and ideas for courses or topics, which we then put into a list in, I think we've got one in Asana, and then there's also a section in Notion, which we use as well. So we've always got kind of a pool of ideas to select from.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of like minimal viable product. So like to test an idea that like you can't just go, oh, would you buy something like this? Because everyone will be like, yeah, no, like nobody gives like a real indication. So the only thing you can do is create an offer and see like how it sells basically. And then just do the most minimum viable product in order to be able to release it, and you can expand on it later. There is a book called The Lean Startup, using the MVP principles, but it's fucking boring, and it also just like belabors the same point over and over and over. You can just read an essay about minimum viable product and you will get just as much content out of it without wanting to actually die from boredom. Sorry if you wrote that book, but it's true.
Okay, well, get wrecked, whoever wrote that book.
It was Eric Rees or some shit like that. It was some white dude, so I don't care.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Laurie asks, if you were starting your business today, what would you do to build an audience?
Same thing as I did to do it. Is like, okay, what do I want to create and how can I share that with the world? And also, like, I'm a big fan of the 2-page marketing plan. I teach about this in the academy. I talked about it in a last podcast episode as well. It's a very simple idea of like, okay, where are my people already hanging out? How can I get in front of them? And what can I offer them that, whether that's free or paid, that would be, a home run for what they're needing right now.
Perfect. So Michelle asks, when you first started your business and published your first workbooks, did you self-publish and print your own books, or did you use a publishing company and print externally?
I go through this in a lot more detail. So if you're interested in that, you can get 40 days to finish your book. And that's like my book writing and publishing course. again in the academy. But basically, I started with self-publishing using, well, one, when I first began, I just sold it as a PDF because they're like, this is back in the olden days of 2009 when dinosaurs still roamed the internet. And so I just sold it as a PDF online for a couple of years. And then I found CreateSpace, which has since become Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing service. I printed through there. And then I went through a phase of self-publishing by doing massive print runs through a publishing house in China. And then went on 3 different boats to 3 different countries. And we had distribution houses in the US, Australia, and Europe. And that was a massive undertaking in order to do that. Like, it was like $500,000 investment and incredibly stressful, like 25 staff or whatever, especially when, we have a product with books that is highly time sensitive. Like, people want it for Christmas or they want it for New Year. So that was like, you bring in a lot of revenue and there's some really good parts to that, but ultimately it just wasn't like a fit for the kind of business I like to run. So we went back to self-publishing for a little while. Then we got a publishing deal through an American publisher, and I'd always thought like, yeah, getting a publishing deal is like the be all and end all, and it's just not. Like, I remember my accountant calling me and going, like, where's the royalty like checks? Like, and I was like, babe, we've already got them. And she's like, but that number's so small. This makes me sad. And I'm like, it also makes me sad. And I had a fucking great publishing deal, guys. Like, my agent was like, this is the best publishing deal I've seen. It was like very small in comparison to what I'm used to seeing with self-publishing. So so we've gone back to just self-publishing. And we use Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing service. Amazon as a company, its founder is not without its faults. And, I would love for every single business decision I make to be, absolutely 100% the ethical and right one. However, we have tried so many systems now. We've tried CreateSpace and Lulu and we've tried it. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of services that we've tried. Zita probably, she's got the face of, yeah, I've had a mental breakdown from those experiences. Yes, that's correct, because it's very fucking stressful. Sometimes the word workbook makes me flinch because we've gone through so much. So this is just the one that is the most doable for us right now. And I also make that decision knowing like, okay, well, I'm not going to always be able to make exactly the right ethical choice that I would like to make. But if I can proceed ahead on this route, then I can also redirect some of our overflow into philanthropy and that kind of stuff and make a difference that way. So that's kind of like the decision process for me.
Yeah. And we keep, every year as it starts to get to workbook season, we do look into other options. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as other options that are both, an appropriate fit and also more ethical, we'll swap.
Totally. And once it won't fuck up all the orders, that would be incredible, because we've had that before.
Deep breaths. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's in the past.
You remember that time that we went through a publishing house, and they sent somebody, instead of sending us the book, they sent her a beautiful print about her dead husband speaking to her through the clouds.
It was instead of the wall planner, instead of printing off like an A2 like sized, like the size of the like tapestry that's behind you, instead of printing off the wall planner, it was this anime. And I mean, it was lovely. And the art was beautiful. It just wasn't what she ordered. And also, I was like, how do you mix these up?
This is a very big thing to mix up. And I'm like, she also didn't have a husband, dead or alive. So was confused all around.
It really wasn't relevant. And the email that she sent, it was so polite. It was
so like, kind.
I just, I think there's been a mix up. And I was like, no, you don't need to say I think. There has been a mix up.
Big old mix up. Big old mix up. And this is the thing, right? Like, because we, like, when we partner with these companies to to print and produce and send out the thing, so we don't have to have all of the staff to do it ourselves, like, there's a huge amount of trust. Like, you are aligning your brand and your, like, your whole thing with this company. And when we get to a company that for whatever reason does not have great quality assurance, and the little whoopsie daisies like that happen sometimes, you're like, oh, holy fuck. And Amazon, without it has very few of those problems, which I'm very grateful for. It's really nice to send dead husband pictures to people.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, obviously everyone makes mistakes. Like,
Yes.
and if that had been the only issue, or one of few issues, then that would have been fine. But it was 50 to 60% of people were receiving the wrong workbook, the workbook that had the biz cover but was a life workbook, or the other way around, or they'd receive one workbook but not the others that they'd ordered. And it got to a point where I was spending 3 to 4 hours a day in our own customer support inbox talking to people who had received incorrect orders. And this went on for 4 months,
It was
and it was
infuriating.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, and people were having a really bad time, and it was not, and we do have really good customer service, but at the same time, at that point, it was just me. So it wasn't an ideal situation.
Yeah. Cough, cough,
Absolutely.
Lulu. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Lulu.com.
it was.
That's a call out to you for kind of
Yeah.
being like, this was a few years ago, guys. So I just want to be clear. This was a few years ago. Maybe they fixed some of those issues. But yeah, it was definitely like, it was just incomprehensible. Like, I haven't seen a company that would just send out that many wrong things and mess things up. And they were good about fixing things. Like, they would, like, they would immediately send out express, like, the right thing. But it was just like, how many times they got it wrong, and surely their profit margins just have been absolutely bogged from it. And also, like, we want to make sure that people have an amazing experience. So we want to make sure, like, that we do the right thing by people. We want to make it up to people if there's any company we've aligned ourselves with that, like, haven't provided stellar service and the right thing. So yeah, it was a big lesson. So anyway, I could, like, talk for genuinely years about the kinds of things that I've seen in the publishing industry. Like, like the time I had to threaten to call the police because we had a distribution house in America who was like keeping our books hostage and refusing to send them out. And we had to, like, send a fucking truck across America with volunteers. Like, we paid them, but to go and rescue these fucking books, and through an apocalyptic snowstorm. It was insane. So anyway, it's been a whole thing. Our process is very simple now. You can just buy the gold workbooks on Amazon, and they'll just ship it to you, and nobody will have a mental breakdown in the process. So hooray!
So ideal. Before I move on to the next question, did you say that you started the workbooks in 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 16.
Shut up. Shut up, Stephen. Shut up. Nobody needs to hear that. Nobody needs to hear that.
I needed to hear that because it made me laugh.
Oh, okay. It's like my beautiful friend Maddie, who's nearly 20 years younger than me, and we were at Tash Corbin's conference, and Alanis Morissette's song came on. Isn't it ironic? Like, yeah. Everyone's like just absolutely jamming up, and Maddie just so sweetly turns to me and goes, "I've never even heard of this person. Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Alanis Morissette." She goes, "No, not even a brain cell, met a brain cell. No recognition. No recognition. You know who Alanis Morissette is, please?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, thank fuck. Yeah. Is she like a gay icon? She's not, is she?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like for you to speak on behalf of an entire population of people, but is she like an indie Kylie? Do you think? Is she like Lady Gaga, but of that generation? You're going to Google that? Will Wikipedia
Yeah,
answer it for you?
that's what I'm looking at. I think she is like a bit of a queer icon. I think she's
Okay.
queer herself as
She, good
well,
on her.
maybe. Or maybe not. I
She
don't
did a
know.
brilliant song during the pandemic, which I really loved. It was about parenting, about like her mission in life is to keep the light in her children's eyes alight, and I just it's fucking good. It's gold. Alanis Morissette, icon for the
Yeah,
queer and
well,
non-queer.
yes. I think I'm not sure if she's queer actually. The thing that made me say that was because there was an article that was like, when did she come out?
Yeah,
But then I
clickbait.
clicked on it and it was like she signed a publishing deal at 14, and I was like, I
You
think we have different definitions of the words come out.
different
Okay.
cupboards, different
Um,
cupboards.
yep, yep.
Nice.
So
Thanks for
Michelle,
thanks for being so young, Zita. I appreciate you.
oh, you're welcome.
Mm, mm.
Anything for you.
Finger paint emoji.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sure. Michelle asks, what were your early days of business like? So think back to when I was like 14
Oh,
to
fuck off,
16.
Zeta. Get fucked. Honestly, you can get fucked. No, because my early days in business were like 2001. How old were you then, slut?
8.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Because
Um,
8. Yeah, my sister
mm,
was born in 2002 and I'm 9 years older than her. So
mm, I love that. I love that for you. Okay, so my early days in business were honestly, I just look back at them with like just so much joy in my heart. I fucking nailed that part of my life. I really did. Like the maiden part of my life was just awesome. So I was like 21-ish, 22, I don't know. At some point, I was something. I was an age. And I started hanging out on message boards, specifically the author Sark, Sark, who wrote the book Succulent Wild Woman, which is just incredible, phenomenal. And I think every person should read it. Have you read the Sark books yet? Fuck off, Cedar. Fine, I'll send you some. This is what you've made me do. Okay, just.
oh,
Uh,
is this how I get presents out of you now? Do you know what
oh.
I also haven't read? First edition Pride and Prejudice. I'll send you a list.
I'll be your book dealer, honestly. Like
Yeah.
it is appalling that you don't have it. I actually have a Sark book just sitting on my desk that I've just bought again off Amazon for the millionth time because my new Pilates instructor mentioned that she hasn't read it. And I was like, oh, fuck off, as if. Well, I'll fix that for you. So got that ready to go. Nice. What was the question? This is why you're here on these podcasts because I can never remember.
Early days of business.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right.
So Sark, message board, amazing, brilliant time. And so I was just sharing my artwork, my stories alive, connecting with people, like making friends. I'm still friends with so many people on there from that time. And it was like, wow, like look at what I could be. And, I was like in early 20s and it was just so thrilling. And then as part of sharing that journey, people would ask me like, "Oh, can I buy an artwork from you?" And I was like, "Holy fuck! People are like actually spend money to do something that like buy something that I actually fucking love doing anyway. Like that's incredible." So I started selling that way, and then I kept on like going, "Oh, what else could I do? What else could I do?" And I was working full time at that point. I was working for the Australian government in Canberra, and just trying out all the different things. And I knew I would want I wanted a creative career and I wasn't sure how to make that happen. And I remember like some big turning points were when I realized that I needed to learn business and marketing skills in order to earn money because I was not born good at it. I was born really shit at it. And so it was a conscious choice for me to learn those things and start trying them out in business. So I did heaps of things like I did wedding and portrait photography. I have a 100% success rate on every single wedding that I photographed. They've divorced now. So you know how to call. if you want to get divorced, this girl.
Maybe you should, your new project should be divorce photography.
Maybe
Where
that
you
would
go,
be dynamic.
yeah, it would be entertaining.
Mm. I mean, it would keep me entertained nonetheless.
Yeah, and me.
It makes some good TikToks, right? And then what you could do, right, is you could like say that you're the photographer's assistant, right? But then just take popcorn and they'd be like,
Yes.
and then what happened?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
and
there.
what
I'm a
else?
prop. I'm a prop to get the real emotional reaction so that you can take the good photos. God, if people were like, wow, how do you guys work together to come up with ideas? It's like this. It's
And then
this.
what happened? Just like you just hook, like you just keep on fishing for more hooks, just like, and then what else? Really? And how did you feel about that? Uh, oh my
Yeah.
God. So I tried all the fucking things. Um, and it just kept on growing over time. I didn't end up leaving my business, like leaving my government job until like 2010 when I was 9 months pregnant with my first daughter. And that's where me and my husband took the leap into being full time with my business. I'd built it up to 6 figures by that point. And yeah, we've been just kind of keep on making things ever since. We've just prioritized being with our kids as much as possible and with each other um and just making stuff and helping people. So it's pretty fun, honestly.
Casey asks, how do you spend your 10 hours a week now that your business is out of maintenance mode?
Ooh. Um, so less kind of just staring at a wall, wondering, like, oh, I wonder what I could do to amuse myself today. I wonder what random side projects I could come up with. Zita's laughing because she knows just some of the absolute skullduggery I'll behave. Like I'll get into if I'm not focused. Like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll just make these insane little drawings, shall I? Um, so now I'm just being a little bit more intentional with my time and a little bit more focused. And how can I like create things that point towards stuff I've already made to sell? Because I've done a really good job of making a lot of shit. I haven't always done a fantastic job at selling it. So now I'm just like in the process of like making sure that I talk about more of the things that I've created now and be like, hey, this could actually fucking help you. You should do this. So 10 hours a week, usually about 2 hours are spent in doing interviews or meetings or recordings, things like that. If I'm doing a course, a lot of my creation time, like a lot of my time spent in course creation mode. I'm in launch mode at the moment, so most of my time is spent in marketing and sales and creating free content to point to the paid content, basically.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights outside of that?
I don't think so. I think because we've now got 2 other assistants, I think you've been able to sort of cycle back purely into more creative focus. So you'll create something which then gets handed to me, and then I funnel it through to the other assistants to be like, okay, let's create social media posts. If it's a video that you've created or a course, someone will go in and create 30 to 60-second reels from the course that you've created. So we've got a much better flow now, which means that you have much more flexibility in terms of, okay, I've got 2 hours that I can work today. What do I want to do? As opposed to being stuck, being like, okay, well, I need to do this, this, and this. Like,
yeah,
you've got more freedom.
Yeah, I think a few things help. Like, firstly, I do want to clarify, we have talked about this before, but I've got 4 part-time assistants now. They're all contractors. All together, they're less than a full-time person. It's just so everyone kind of works part-time hours. And I had a second topic I was going to say. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the idea of like Michael Jordan you know, in order for him to perform at his best, like he can't be out there like selling all the tickets and then washing the floors and, you know, designing all the uniforms. Like at some point, he's just got to like just turn up, do his job, which is like hitting the home runs. Like, no, that's another ball
Shooting the
analogy.
shooting the 3-pointers.
Good.
Yeah.
Sports analogies and me are like, fucking that, like that. Um, yeah, so trying to like create more space, because there's certain things that only I can do, nobody else can do in the company. Like only I can do live streams, only I. Well, I mean, other people could theoretically write sales emails, but tends to work better if I do them. Creating content, coming up with new ideas, and also making sure that I am not burnt out. That's a really important piece of the puzzle as well.
Yeah. Now this has been a question that we've had a few times in the Facebook group, and also had feedback for as people want a course on. So I'm curious to hear your insight. And that is, it's everything about YouTube. So a lot of people's questions are, what tips do you have on starting a YouTube channel? And sort of how would you set a YouTube channel up, and what would you sort of use it for?
Sure. Okay, so the YouTube space is, changed quite a lot. So if you want to be a YouTuber and earn money just from that, I would specifically look at Ali Abdaal, Abdaal. He has a course about it called Part-Time YouTuber Academy. I think he's one of the smartest people to learn from. Even if you just watch his free videos, I think they're great. I think what it comes down to is this. One, editing is a really important part of the puzzle. You could just like 10, 12 years ago, you could just get up and do fuck all in terms of editing and lighting and all that kind of stuff. If you want YouTube to be your thingamabob, you're going to have to up level on that in terms of editing, and lighting and set up, that kind of stuff. You also, of course, you would have to be fairly aware of the algorithm, how to like tag it and label it in order to get the most amount of views, the sort of lengths of videos they're looking for. You definitely want to be cognizant of the kind of like content that you want to create. Now, the thing that I think Ali Abdaal is quite smart in is he recognizes that it's risky to put all of your income in just getting the YouTube creator payouts, because that will vary hugely from year to year. And if anything happens to the algorithm or happens to YouTube as a platform, your entire thing is at risk. So he, like me, really puts focus on building his mailing list and also having products outside of that as well. So I think he's a clever one to look at.
Brilliant. And so I've got a few questions from Linda here. So she asks, what are your tips on how to be yourself in business rather than who you think people want you to be?
I feel like I don't really have any advice on that, because it's not something that I think about. Do you have any advice on like from an external point of view, or not? Should I just come up with some shit?
I think it's people are really good at picking up when you're inauthentic. Especially, and I don't mean that in the sense of like, if you are comfortable just, going live or going into your business and just kind of ad-libbing everything. So like everything that you see that Leonie does, like very few of it is actually scripted. Most of what I'd say like 98% of the course videos that Leonie does, they're all off the cuff. It's none of
They're all
it's
notes. Like I have like just bullet point notes, and then I know like you can give me 4 words and I know exactly like 3 paragraphs to say on it.
Yes. but still not scripted as such. So you can create fully scripted content and still be able to put your own personality in it. And you can create unscripted content with, prompts with notes, and still be fully authentic. I think it's just a matter of just knowing what it is about yourself that people connect to. So for me, my big thing is that I like being funny. I like using humor, and I feel like people connect to that. So if I was to create content, I would try and imbue my personality through it through the use of humor. So I think recognizing your sort of strengths and what people connect to, and then putting that into the core of your business, probably would be a good start, I think. And just practice as well. The first time you film a video, you're going to be stiff. That's normal. The 1000th time you film a video, you'll be far more comfortable.
That's true.
So, just when I was first, I would film videos for, there's a few videos in the academy that are by me. And you can, the videos that are in there that I filmed 3 years ago for some of the modules, it took me 6 or 7 times to film the video because I kept getting so awkward. Whereas now, I don't care.
You're just awkward.
Yeah, it just is what it is. What it is.
You is awkward. You is awkward.
So,
I think that's true. And also, like, I think for me, it was sort of like a decision. Like, I had like a public service career. I could have stayed in that, knowing that I couldn't really be all of myself there. Like there were certain limitations. I pushed a lot of those limitations, as my old boss Lily would know. Did I really behave myself? No. Did I cause quite a few cacophonies? Yes, I did. But it was like I still had to behave in a certain way. And so when it came to my business, which was just my fun little side hobby, did I really want to like carry that over, like that requirement over? Fuck no, that sounded really boring. And it just sounded illogical as well. Like, I want to have a creative career so I can be all of myself and have the most amount of fun. And the way that I know that the way to do that is by being myself. And it's also something that I've definitely like learned more and more over time, because there was definitely things that I did not talk about in the early days and did not feel comfortable with sharing whatsoever. Especially like the harder past, that felt much more difficult to share. And when I went through postpartum depression and anxiety in like 2011, I remember a friend saying to me, like, one day, Leonie, you'll talk about this and you'll write about this and you'll share about this publicly. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? As if I ever would. Like, who wants to hear from a business coach or a life coach who's like struggled so profoundly in this area? And then, a year later, I was, at the point of being healed, that I did want to share about it. And I also wanted to help people who had gone through it or was still suffering and still going through it. I wanted to offer up my story in service of that. And the response I got back was so profound and so beautiful. I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, I'm always want to share about fucking difficult stuff. Not just the good stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone's authentic self will look different. So, someone might find that sharing that much isn't for them, and that's fine.
Totally. And it's changed. It's changed for me. Like, I don't share about my kids and my husband online really anymore. Like, I don't share their stories. I don't share their picture as much as possible, just because I don't feel like I have like their full consent to do that. And it's also my story to tell. I don't want to tell the story of who my children are. I want them to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, 100%. So Linda's next question was, how do you finish something before starting the next great idea?
Yeah. my rule is like, it's got to go out and do its job before I can. Otherwise, they just all pile up and it becomes very overwhelming. And it's got to, like, for me, if it's a paid thing, then it's got to make money. I've got to like actually do a proper kind of launch for it before I move on to the next thing.
Yes, and we do in the academy next year, I believe it's Katie Rose is teaching a guest expert workshop on how to finish what you start.
Yes.
So you can jump into the academy. I think we've mentioned prices double at the end of November. So you've got like 22 days left to get that workshop, which will be out next year, along with like oodles of other courses and workshops.
It probably won't even be 22 days. It'll probably be like 15 days by the time this goes out, maybe less.
Oh, yeah, true. It's
Yeah.
22 days
If
the day that we're filming.
Life, bitches.
So Linda also asks, how do you manage all of the great ideas you have without starting everything at the same time? So how do you pick which one to start with?
Oh, there's a few mechanisms. Usually I get people, like, if you're confused about what book to write or eCourse or whatever, I just get people to pull out a piece of paper and I say, okay, just like, you've got 30 seconds, write down as many as you can right now. And then circle the top one. And then just do that one. And because the one that you've written down first is probably the one that is the most important. And now that, like, you guys probably didn't take that piece of paper out and you're like, oh God, what am I going to write down for the first one? So your head's going to go up your own asshole. So I just wish you'd have paused before I'd said that, and just actually done the fucking thing. Just pick the one. Like, it doesn't matter. What matters is actually you just do one, put it out in the world. If it's the one that's going to make you the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time, great. If it's the one that's closest to getting done, great. If it's the easiest one to do, great. I don't care as long as it gets done, because once you get it done, you get momentum and it helps you put the next project out in the world. And it's so much better than staying fucking stuck. Also, if you haven't already, you should check out my free book called The Wild Donkey Guide. No, the Guide to Riding Wild Donkeys. It's about how to get your projects done faster. And it's why I teach, like, how to create and sell your e-course in 40 days and how to finish your book in 40 days. If you give yourself a really short, sharp deadline to get a big project done, that is going to work so much better than going, I'll take the next 12 months to do it. Oh, fuck off. You'll die from boredom and wander off into a piece of woods and just be like, oh, I forgot what I was doing. No, you've got 30 days. You got to the end of this month. Fucking do it.
Absolutely. And I will just say as well, something that was really helpful for me as a neurodivergent person was being told, like, you can just do the one that lights you up the most. Because often I get stuck with, oh, well, I should probably do the one that will make the most money or will bring in the most XYZ list members or, whatever it is. That's also a great way to kill momentum, because then you're setting yourself up for that kind of demand avoidance. And so picking something that's fun and that is gonna like light you up, that's even if it doesn't make you much money, like you said, Leonie, it kicks off that momentum. So if the first thing that you make is really enjoyable but it doesn't sell anything, but it then gives you enough momentum to do something that maybe wasn't as enjoyable and that makes you money, great. Like,
chase that dopamine, baby. Wherever the dopamine's attached to a project, great. We love that.
Yeah. And last question, also from Linda, how do you work out what to hand off to your assistant? It's
Would
anything
you like to
you
say
don't
something?
want to do.
Correct. Ding, 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 bitch. Ding, ding, ding. And now, aren't you a happy little camper? Because now whatever you don't want to do, you give to your assistants.
It's the best, and I fully understand why you do it. I'm like, I've never been happier. I'm like, oh, a horrible little task.
Fuck your task. Enjoy that, guys. Let me know if you've got any questions.
Yeah, it's great.
Basically, like, again, it's like that whole Michael Jordan analogy. What's actually going to keep you doing the thing, like, that is really important, that's going to make you the most amount of money? And also, like, I always say to people, like, before you hand anything off, decide if it's actually important to do or not, because it costs you money to delegate. So it's best for you to, it's best for you to decide if it's really that critical, really that important, and then systemate it as well. So before Zita hands on any task, she will create a Loom video on how to do the task, answering as much questions as you can preemptively. And we keep that task, we keep that Loom for next time it needs to be done, so that doesn't, like, nobody needs to be trained on that again. The training is already there. So that systemation helps as well. Also, like, in the beginning days of your business, you can't just like outsource everything. And there's still some fucking dirty work that I have to do. Like, do I really want to have to go through our Xero and reconcile our accounts of like where shit has, like, what category shit goes in? No, I don't. But it's important for me to do it as a business owner. So I fucking do it anyway. I put my big girl panties on and I make Zita sit there and watch me do it.
And I'm just grateful that I don't have to. Because I draw the line at having to do any financial stuff. I don't even like doing my own. Like,
oh my God. Zita, have I shown you this? This was like, you can get these kits, these Lego kits, and they're $10 from Big W, and they're unicorns on rainbows.
That's cool as.
I know, $10. And my 9-year-old made it for me, and I fucking love it. I couldn't love it more.
So cute.
It is so cute. And I have it because I'm a hippie, of course. I have it on like a little selenite tree of life and grave crystals to really magnify its unicorn powers.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you should run to get that. Or just want that part of your Christmas present, along with other questionable products from retirement aged websites.
I am trying to declutter before we move house.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. No, that's fine. Remember, I did ask you before your birthday, I was like, did you want something large and breakable before you move? And you said yes.
I did say yes.
You did say yes.
But now I'm lit by the lamp that you got me. So it's,
my golden light, something upon your face. I don't know. Comes upon your face, something. I don't know. It just feels like there's a cum joke in there somewhere.
There is. And we can just say that the joke is in there and
you can work it out. It's a little puzzle, actually.
Oh, there you go. That's what gets handed off to me. Cum jokes that we can't think of.
That's right. That's right. Assign it to someone quick. There's a cum joke in there. We haven't quite worked it out. If anybody out there who's listening to this and you just know, like, oh, the golden light, blah. No, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yuck. Yuck. I hate this. I hate this.
I mean, you can always report it to HR if you've got any issues.
Yeah, HR doesn't like it either.
Oh, okay. And so should HR like talk to management about it?
HR has talked to management. Management also doesn't like it.
Yeah, but like
the joke being that I am HR and also management.
Yeah. And like, is this an appropriate like workplace to work? Incorrect. None. Zero.
But is it funny?
Yes.
Everything's okay.
Yes. And that's like its own kind of fringe benefits, right? It's when everything is funny. Like there's always a punchline somewhere.
Yeah.
So
it's just sometimes we can't find it, but we know it's there.
We know it's on the tip of our tongue.
Tip of our tongue. I hate it.
This has been really good. I'm really proud of us. We've actually nailed this. Okay, final things to finish up. One, me and Zita did a wonderful fucking live stream about changes we've made in the business this year. You can check it out on my YouTube page or Facebook page. You can go check that out. And of course, the Academy is doubling in price at the end of November. So if you want to get all of my courses and workbooks and resources and guest expert workshops and all the fucking stuff to help you grow your business, I'm literally giving it a fucking way, guys. I'm giving it away for under $100 a year, $99 a year US. Yeah, $8,500 of it. I don't sell anything else. I'm not going to like upsell you into some high level mastermind. No, I'd rather just give you all the fucking shit to succeed now. I've created over $13 million in 10 hours a week. I have a shit ton of fucking trophies for winning business awards. And I've created a pretty fucking nice life for myself. So you should go check it out, leoniedawson.com/academy. I genuinely don't know what else I could do to make it more amazing than what it actually is, because it's the best fucking offer out there that you'll ever see. And that's what I have to say about that. Zita, have you got any closing words?
No.
Good on you. Good on you. Pithy, profound. I'm glad we're finishing that. Yeah, no, you're welcome. All right. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da.